Hello, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Lounge Podcast. Today, we will be discussing Star Wars video games, ones we've played, our favorite ones, ones we maybe are not so familiar with or have tried and would like to explore more, and maybe ones we didn't enjoy so much, but, what we would do maybe to tweak them a little bit.
Tweaking?
No, I'm tweaking because a hiccup keeps trying to escape, but it keeps going back down.
Oh boy. You gotta let him go. You can't lock those guys in.
I'm trying to let him go. He won't leave. Always something happening here in this. So let us be your guides. Before we get into it, we are also on YouTube now. We will be saying this in episode 4.5 as well, which we just recorded. Go check that out as well. I'm assuming they'll be posted at similar times, or maybe they'll be posted a day or so apart. I don't know. But you will. This is all things that will happen in the future.
Yeah, so kind of what happened on a technical level, we recorded 4.5 first, not knowing it was going to be 4.5. And then I realized that we were 40 minutes in and we hadn't gotten into the topic at hand. So I was like, well, let's just do the 4.5 as a bonus episode, because that's where we talk about some things that I will leave up to the episode to show for itself.
Find out if you listen.
Exactly. So that is
in a world where you've listened to Sando Aqua Lounge episode 4.5. You know what has happened.
Exactly. But basically, the intro of the bonus episode is not the tradition. I guess it's not really a tradition just yet. But it doesn't start with the typical intro for a bonus episode. We kind of just like intro it kind of the same because it wasn't anticipated. But anyways,
we didn't know.
We didn't know. We really did not.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
What happened?
Had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
I think that's been used every episode.
I think so.
Far.
I forget that I have the other ones. I just gotta time it. It'll be things that we learn over time. But what is your first question, sir? How do you want to start this?
The first question, I feel like there's a couple ways I could go with this. We could start with our favorite ones, because we probably got a lot to say about our favorites. And then, we move towards down the scale. But I feel like maybe we save the best for last. So we'll start at the end, not the middle. That comes later. So we'll start at the bottom with maybe some Star Wars games we didn't like so much and how we would tweak them, or what we would change.
So recently, I've actually began to appreciate the EA Battlefront 2, which is kind of interesting because I had bought it and then kind of just like fell off of it for a while. Reason being, I guess, lack of time. And then for a out of town trip with the guys that I work with, some of my coworkers, we went to a little place about 4 hours away. I'm not going to disclose locations and anything like that. But basically, we're in the Airbnb, and then one of my coworkers, because I brought my Xbox, he ended up just loading up the game. He just loaded it up. He's like, I haven't played this in a while, kind of thing. And he just started playing it. And then I was like watching for a bit, and I was like, okay, every 5 deaths we switch. It's like, deal. So we started playing it, and it was just like, suddenly it was like 2.5 hours later, we've been playing online. It was just like, holy crap, this game is pretty fun. But then it's like, you wanted to address some of the tweaks. So the tweaks, and I think for every EA Battlefront 2 user, I guess I should say, not, I guess gamer would also be applicable now too. I think we can all mutually agree that there was a lack of content on that, a lack of skins for your characters. Some of the skins are a little bit ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen Yoda with his hood on.
I have not.
in the game, but basically like they cut out ear holes for him,
What?
and it just looks so bad.
It probably looks so dumb.
And that's it. Like that's then it's just the regular Yoda and then hooded Yoda, and you're like, I don't even want to buy the skin because it looks so dumb.
Why would you wouldn't buy that?
And I think Battlefront 2 seems to be that kind of game where it's just where the people who mod it do a better job at creating content for the game than the actual creators themselves in that realm. So I'd say that would be something that I would personally tweak with the EA Battlefront 2.
All right. I have a hot take on this one.
Okay. Hot takes. We like this is the whole point, right?
So, OG Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, not the second one.
First,
I love Star Wars Battlefront 2. We'll circle back to that bad boy.
yes, we will.
OG Battlefront, I'm not a humongous fan of.
What's that?
This could just be I was spoiled because I never played the original one growing up, but I played a ton of Battlefront 2 with my older brother, and we would just spend hours and hours and hours playing that game. That game is a lot of fun. It's a bit more refined, a bit more polished over Battlefront 1.
Yeah.
A couple years later, I played Battlefront 1. I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? It's not bad. But the more I played it and, tried out the story mode and just the more I played it, the more I was like, I was like, I don't know, man. Just kind of kept sliding down the slope of, I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. There's just like
It's not
graphics thing or playability or just like what the game had. Like obviously with Battlefront, it would be the first time that they made that kind of game.
Yeah. So I can't hold it against them too much. This is the first one. It's the older brother of the duo. Got to give it some credit for starting the series. But Battlefront 2 is just where it's at.
Yes, I would agree.
I will also say it feels, and again, this is more so because it was the first game, not because it's bad. It just feels stiffer and less responsive than Battlefront 2. And again, this is just me, being spoiled growing up playing Battlefront 2, having a lot of fun with it. Comparing it to Battlefront, the first Battlefront, it feels a little unfair. I do have to give it some slack for starting the series, and being the first, can't hold too much against it. This is where it all started.
Fair. Do you have another game that you'd tweak or didn't like playing?
Oh man, that's hold on. Okay. Oh, this is tough. I didn't think too much beyond, because I've also played the EA Battlefront 1 and 2, and I didn't mind them, but again, they didn't really hold a candle to the OG Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
The only game that's kind of coming to mind right this second is Star Wars Bounty Hunter, but I'm also in the middle of playing that for the first time, so I can't really give a full thought on it. But I will say I'm not having a bad time with it. I'm having more fun with it than I expected.
Okay. Is that the one with Jango Fett?
Yes, it is the one with Jango Fett.
Okay. That one's it's one of the greatest of all time. I've heard, anyways. I haven't played it myself.
I'm enjoying it a fair bit. You can get it. I think it's on Steam, or on. Let me just hold up. We're taking a brief. Not even a brief. And I typed Steam into the Steam search bar. I'm in shambles. I have found it. It is on Steam. So it's $25.99, which is not too bad.
$25, eh? That game is still holding value.
Yeah. Most of the older Star Wars games are good. I have found a game. Just looking at the Steam page, I found a game that I can talk about for the next part, which is if you have no other game to add to this section of games you maybe didn't enjoy as much but would tweak.
I mean, could I include games that I've seen people play and I didn't like them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Because Star Wars Theory actually plays a bunch of games on his channel and streams them. So he's played the Outlaws game, and it seemed like a pretty yeah. So it's like it seemed pretty real. It seemed pretty okay. Like it didn't seem like it was something that you'd spend hours in. And then they had Darth Vader in it, and then he started talking, and I'm like, this isn't Darth Vader. What is this garbage? Like just on that moment alone made me go, I'm not buying this game. Not a chance in the world.
I don't remember the last time I bought like a modern Star Wars game.
It was just it sounded terrible. It didn't even sound like Vader. I'll show you a clip. It's so I mean, unless you just find it. Yeah. But it was just not the James Earl Jones. And I don't know if they used AI, but if they used AI, that AI sucks.
It's like, I don't know if they did this, but if they did, it sucked.
Yeah, basically. It just did not it just pains me because it's like Star Wars is on such a low right now that it's like you see anything with the media, like Star Wars media coming out, you're just like, all right, let's see how this goes. You let other people try it because people get paid to try it.
It's not where it should be at currently.
Definitely not. There's Outlaws, and then there was I think Survivor was also a game that was just like there was a plot point that just like happened too quickly or something like that, or I'm not entirely sure. But there's something about Survivor that didn't really rub people the right way about it. It was just no, yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, I'd probably say those would be the games. I would say the tweak to Outlaws would be making Vader sound like Darth Vader, and then I would probably consider it.
Tweak to the voice acting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, shifting to a segment I feel like we're going to spend a little bit more time on, which is Star Wars games we're not familiar with but would like to try.
Oh, okay. Time to look at my games list again.
I have a couple.
Okay,
the first one is Star Wars Republic Commando. I've never played this game. I know practically nothing about Republic Commando. I just know it looks really cool.
Okay. I think funny enough, I think my dad had it when I was younger. He had the game, and it was like you know those cases that were like CD cases, and it was like I've heard somebody describe it. It was Netflix before Netflix. We just like flip a whole bunch of CDs of like, what do I want to watch today, kind of thing. Do you remember those?
All right. Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. Okay, so basically, my dad had a section of all the games that he had on just like the CDs that he had. So one of them happened to be Republic Commando. Roughly around the same time, I was just playing the heck out of Battlefront 2. Which we will definitely cover in the last segment.
We will certainly be circling back to it.
Yeah. So I was playing Republic Commando. I think I played the first mission and like, and I thought like I was so bad at the game just because I was like 7 years old and it's the first person shooter that I kind of just popped in and tried out. I had no idea how to do anything on it, so I started playing it and I was like, this game sucks. I keep dying. And so maybe I would actually include Republic Commando in the first segment if I was 7, but because I'm older, it's more of a game that I'm like, I've played the first mission. I'm sure it's not actually that hard.
You are no longer 7.
I am no longer 7. I might be able to figure out the game menu in the first mission and actually, do something. I would actually be on the same page as you on this one for Republic Commando.
So you have a little more experience with this one than I do.
Just a mission that I played in 2007.
What would your game be here? What if you have one?
Funny enough, Knights of the Old Republic.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
But this is why I say it's a funny thing, because I bought it in the last half of the year of 2024, and I played the first mission, and then I just like did not have time to get back into it. So, with that in mind, Knights of the Old Republic, I would like to hop back into that one for sure.
I had a lot of fun with it. I have played through it once, and I had a lot of fun with it. I have both the first and the second one. They're currently staring back at me from my shelf. The second one asking, how come you played the first one? Why haven't you played me? I haven't played 2, but I want to. But that is not the next game I'm going to put on the list, because I've played a couple of the Star Wars Jedi Knight games, and those are a lot of fun. The one I want to play is, because I've played Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which is a lot of fun, and I play a little bit of Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast.
I've heard that one's good.
I've got to play a little bit of it, or just more into it, because I played Jedi Academy first, and then I played Outcast. So I've got to play either... what are the other 2 ones? So there's Dark Forces and Mysteries of the Sith. And they both... These are some old games. Is it 2009? Well, I don't know the original release dates. These are the when they released on Steam, I guess. But
Jedi Academy is 2003. Mysteries of the Sith is 2009.
Oof.
You said Jedi Knight. Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast was 2002.
I was 2 years old when that game came out.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
These games are 20 plus years old, man.
And they're still playable today.
They're still so good.
That's what makes a good game, man. If you can still play it 20 years later, there's something to that. That seems to be so rare nowadays. They're just trying to pump out stuff, and it's just like, guys.
Like when I was down there, when I was visiting, I picked up. This is a little off topic, a little off tangent. I picked up the Lego Bionicle game, which I forgot that existed, but I picked it up, and you know what? It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
It doesn't even look too bad by today's standards. You know, for a PlayStation 2 game that came out, I think 2003, still looks pretty all right.
Doesn't seem too bad.
We're gonna go back to Google. Now we're just gonna real quick double check the date. Yep, 2003. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The more you know.
Exactly. I think I would put. You were talking about Jedi Knight.
Yes, Star Wars Jedi Knight. Just that whole series. I want to explore more of it.
Funny enough, I would put Star Wars Bounty Hunter in this category for myself. I think even just the lore, what I've heard about it is that Count Dooku recruits you to do some stuff, and all the movie stuff where I think Jango Fett and when he's on Camino with Obi-Wan, he was like, I was recruited by a man called Tyrannus on the moon of Bokta, and it like actually is a thing in the game that you get recruited on that exact location. So it's like, to me, I would like to think that Bounty Hunter is actually like a canon kind of part, where it's like, obviously you've got your canon of the films and the shows and all this stuff, but in the video games, I think there are some video games that would be deemed as canon, and I think that's one of them.
I wonder, are there any Star Wars video games that are considered canon besides, I think, Fallen Order? I think that one's canon.
I think both those games so far are deemed as canon. I think the Battlefront 2 campaign storyline was supposed to be canon as well. Not the 2005. Obviously, that one's not canon anymore. I'm talking about the EA one.
Yes. Yeah. So the list of this is holy. Okay, this is actually a little longer than I was expecting it to be.
Are you being overwhelmed?
So, a little
bit.
Sure, beginning. Oh, well, most of these are phone games.
Boo. Boo.
Boo. These are phone games. What is this nonsense?
What is this trash? We don't want mobile games. Not to diss any
No.
mobile gamers that actually do mobile gaming, but it's like in the realm of consoles and PC gaming. We do not want them.
There's better ways to game than on your phone.
Yeah. I would be there for sure. What's another game that you'd like to try out? So you said Jedi Knight.
Yes. I have it. I have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet because I've just been looking for a time to set away for it, and that is Star Wars: The Old Republic, not Knights of the Old Republic, The Old Republic.
Oh, why is that?
Why haven't I played it, or why do I want to play it?
Yeah, why is that on your list of games to play?
It just looks really cool. And also, it's been around for a while, and we're still getting new stuff like today. It's still going very strong for. Oh man, I don't even know how long this game's been going. We got some stuff based off of Skeleton Crew, which is crazy.
Dang. Maybe
Came
that's
out.
something to get. Maybe.
Yeah, first released on December 2011. This game is so old now. This game's like 14. This game's like 14 years old. Holy. And it's still going strong, which is crazy.
Oh yeah. I think I would throw in the Force Unleashed for myself in this category, just because I've had my hand in playing it a couple times in some of the missions, but then it was that kind of game for me where I would play it and I'd figure out the controls, I'd figure out the missions, and then I'd stop playing it, and then I'd go back to it months later and have to relearn how to do it again.
Yeah.
So then there was no consistency, so I had to figure it out. Dude, actually, little side thing, I haven't played Zelda in months.
Oh, dude.
And it sucks because it's such a cool game, and I am
So
slowly
fun.
appreciating the animation so much more every time I play it. I just think it's so cool. And if I just know that if I'm gonna go play it again, and I'm just I'm staring at my Wii U right now, I'm staring at it, and I'm staring at the game on top of the console itself, and I'm just I just know that if I'm gonna start playing it again, I have to relearn how to do everything, and I'm just oh, sucks. It's too many things to play, so little time.
There's so many good games.
So many snacks, so little time.
Yes.
I would say those would be the first ones on my list for games that I'd like to try.
I can't think of any more games I would like to try off the top of my head. Oh, wait. No. Hold up. Wait. Hold on.
Oh. He's got one.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
technically
he's
three.
got one.
Technically three.
Three. He's got three. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got three.
I think this got re-released as collection on... I don't know what console. It was ported to PlayStation 4 and Vita, but the Super Star Wars trilogy, which came out for Super Nintendo, I played a little bit of each one, and I would like to revisit them at some point, just because I remember enjoying them, especially playing as Luke, because so in each game you can play as Luke, Han, or Chewie, except in the third one where you can play as Leia as in the bounty hunter disguise she has in Jabba's palace.
Right.
But arguably Luke's the... Okay, if I remember correctly how it goes, Chewie is the toughest, has the most health, but he's the slowest. Han and Leia have the quickest rate of fire. Luke also has a blaster, but he also has the lightsaber. And I remember just thinking, yes. Have fun with the lightsaber.
Just go crazy.
Just have fun.
Yeah, I'm good there. I think if you start adding the list, it's going to be way too long, and then I won't have time to play any of the games. Because there's so many games to
There's
play.
just so many good games to play.
Just LucasArts back in the day was just like so solid.
They knew what they were doing, man.
Yeah, they knew how to get the people going.
Yeah. Well, nowadays they know how to get the people going away.
Yeah.
I feel so bad to say that, but it's not even wrong.
No, we don't want to be wrong about this stuff. It's like we want to
No.
be able to enjoy the content that comes out. So if you release
We
content
li-
that we don't enjoy,
We like this franchise. We want to like it. We want it to be good.
you know what's funny enough is that I was actually asked yesterday by a coworker, because like a bunch of us have the kind of the same hobbies of just like movies, TV shows, video games, like that kind of thing. We just a lot of us like that stuff. And I was asked, like, what do you think has been the best, I guess, like the best franchise or the best movies to have come out that don't have remakes or reboots? And
Oh man,
because there's so many shows and stuff that have reboots, like there's Harry Potter that's having a reboot as
yeah.
coming out, all this stuff. Franchises that should not have reboots are getting reboots.
No, yeah.
Um,
Well, okay. I have a slight comment on this because I saw a trailer for like a Valentine's like slasher flick. And I
Okay.
was just like, no. I remember saying Hollywood, you can stop whipping the dead horse anytime now. It's just there's so many reboots and sequels. Just like come up with something original.
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer for the Valentine's Day slasher flick, and I was like, Hollywood, I was wrong. I've changed my mind. Please keep whipping that dead horse. Your original stuff is scary, and I don't like it. That wasn't even like scary in a way. It was just like it was a scary film. It was just like it's scary of, oh, you're not even scraping the bottom of the barrel. You've scraped through it.
You see, dang, my boy Terry's a savage.
I want good. Okay, I say I want good films, and I love good films, and I've watched some good films. Last year I saw in theaters 3 movies which I really really enjoyed, which was Godzilla X Kong movie, which I really enjoyed.
Okay.
Beetlejuice, which was so funny. And then the last movie I saw of the year was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and oh, it was so good, man.
Doesn't that one have Hayden Christensen in it too?
No, there's a rumor floating around that Hayden was going to be Shadow. And I was hyped for that. But then I was announced that it was going to be Keanu Reeves as Shadow, which was also good. I will never bash Keanu Reeves. He nailed it. Dude, if you're looking for a good movie trilogy, watch the Sonic movie trilogy, or go watch the Mario movie again, because that was also really good. See, look at this, guys. This was original content that we haven't had before. Now, these are series that have been around for a while,
Yeah.
and we got some good content from them, good movies, and it's just, it makes me sad.
I would say like Super Mario is probably one of my favorite movies in the last like 5 years.
It was so good.
I would also say Maverick's up there too, like Top Gun Maverick. That one's really solid.
There's
But it's
some good movies. It's just you have to sort through the schlock of everything else that's come out.
yeah, you kind of have to stir through the pot to find something good.
Yeah.
But we know that the Mando and Grogu movie's coming out in the next
Yeah.
year or two. So
Apparently, Embo, the bounty hunter, is going to be the villain, or I guess the antagonist, not necessarily the villain.
yeah,
Because you can be an antagonist, which is just the main opposing force of the protagonist, and not be a villain.
true. Yep, that's fair. Getting back on the topic.
Getting back to the topic.
I would use the clip again, but we've already used it, so I don't want to
Yes.
keep playing it. But what
It's
I
a
will,
good clip.
sorry, go for it.
It's a good clip.
It's our favorite. It's a
It's-
really good one because we get
we-
off topic all the time. So
we-
it's just
really do.
it's pretty good. Favorites.
Oh boy, we're gonna go off here. We're gonna like absolutely pop off here.
Yeah, go for it, dude. You can start. Go nuts, man.
All right, I'm gonna work from top three. I'm gonna do top three favorites,
Okay.
and number one is a tie. So
Ooh, it's a tie.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
but number three favorite is Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Nice.
It's just if you've ever just wanted to feel like an absolute unit while playing a Star Wars game and having some decent platforming and just solid like hack and slash fun, Unleashed is where you want to be, man. You know, Star Killer is fantastico. Sam Witwer nailed it.
I would agree.
Yeah,
Though I haven't played a whole lot of it, I know Sam Witwer does a really good job. The man's got range, dude.
he just knows what he's doing, man.
And he knows the lore so well.
He surprised Filoni with how much he knew the lore. Like he outdid Filoni. That's impressive.
Yes.
All right. What about you, my good sir?
I'm not I didn't really rank them. I like
You don't have to rank them. I'm ranking them because we want to add a little suspense.
oh, I am feeling all the suspense right now on your end. I have no form factor. I just wrote some stuff down just to kind of be like, why is this like a favorite? Why do I have a connection to a memory to this? But I think so far modern from a modern game, I have to go with Fallen Order. The combat's so well done. And Cal Kestis became a favorite Jedi so fast during that game, just because he had a story element to him that was really, really cool. It seems to have been a recycled story point for a lot of characters as of recent, of like survive Order 66 and all this stuff, and Mentor dies, and it's just like, but I think the Cal Kestis story was one of the earlier ones that captured a lot of people. And the fact that Vader was in there that wasn't voiced terribly was really, really cool. And a fun fact for those listening, I actually met Cameron Monaghan, who motion captured and voiced Cal Kestis at the Fan Expo 2024, so last year. And I was able to talk to him for about 10 minutes before his line began to fill up. So I think there's like lines at the Fan Expo, and then you just kind of take turns, and there's tables and all that stuff. And I was with my Jabba's Pit Crew co-host, and we ended up talking to Cam Monaghan for like a solid 10 minutes before his line began to fill up. So that's pretty cool. So there's a little bit of an extra connection there, just because you met the people behind the project and they're super passionate about it. So that gives more brownie points to why it's one of my favorites right now.
I haven't played Fallen Order yet. It's on the to get list.
Was that part of the last segment, or was that missed?
It was missed, but also it's not like high on the to get list.
Fair.
All right. So, favorite number 2.
Ooh.
Hello, Chester. You are my favorite dog.
I don't think that's a game.
No, he's just coming to let me know that it's almost time to feed him.
He knows his feeding times.
Yeah.
Fair.
But favorite number 2.
Yes.
Is fittingly Star Wars Battlefront 2.
On number 2.
Yes.
Wow.
And if I had a list, a top 3 list of spots where Battlefront 2 could have landed, spot number 2 would be number 1. But no. Okay. Star Wars Battlefront 2, fantastic game, and by all accounts, it should beat the number 1 tie. But as the quote goes, nostalgia is one hell of a drug.
Fair. Yeah.
But I played my older brother. He bought this game for his PlayStation 2, and we just played it nonstop for like 2 weeks, having all kinds of fun, and it's a great game. I could just the hours and hours spent playing that with him, and then playing it with my cousins when they came over, and just playing it on my own. The game's just super fun, and there's just so much replayability to it.
Yep.
And the Rise of the Empire campaign, just oh man,
That one's so
game's
cool.
so good. It's so good.
You know what? Funny enough, even in the Battlefront 2 game, because that one, I'll just hop in and say that it's my favorite game. There's a lot of nostalgia on that. There's the introduction I had for the game was I was at my cousin's place, and then his dad came downstairs holding the game in his hand, and he basically just tossed it to us and was like, "Give it a shot, see how it plays, try it out. I don't know what it is yet. I just found this game, thought it was cool, go play it." And the game which came out 2005. I think I was like 6. My cousin's like 8, might have been a little bit older, give or take. But then like we started playing it, and flash forward to now, I still play it. Like I've been playing this game for like just short of 20 years.
It's so good.
Like you said, it's got such a high quality replayability to it. The funny thing is, I think a couple of years ago, I think it might have been 2 or 3 years ago when I saw it, but I popped it in because I was like, I haven't played this in a while, and then I popped it in, and then my Xbox One's like, update for Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm like, really? What do you mean update for it? So I updated it, and then I go in, and there's just everything that was from the first game was in the second game, new maps and upgraded graphics to basically like 1080p, I think, because obviously an older game, like it's not going to look that great on like modern technology. But then I played it, and it was just like, holy crap, this looks so good. And
give it that upres, that lovely facelift.
yeah, and it was just like, I don't know, I started playing it, and the mechanics just like started coming back to me, and I was like, this is just a solid game in even the realm of its the mechanics of the game. Like I've never been able to play a game that like you can play as a Jedi and just had that feel of just like, I feel like a badass. The saber throws, the just the combos that you ended up doing, and it was like you know how certain characters will have like a certain rhythm patterns when you attack.
Yes.
It was kind of just like, it was just that, so you can like but just button mash, but it was just like, it just looks so cool. And you can like do force pushing, you can pull him in, you can do all this crazy stuff. Like with Yoda, you could like switch back and forth between push and pull, and then you'd like be able to pull like a droid to you, and then mid-air, like if it's really really high and they're kind of far away, they like fly up into the air. And then sometimes if you get good enough at repeating it over and over again, you can like force pull a droid towards you, and then immediately after jump a couple times and slice him in the air. I mean, there's no
so cool.
There's no game that did that again for me. And like even the Battlefront 2 game that like is played now, it's not nearly as good for the heroes, I find. I think it's still a really fun online multiplayer game. I still appreciate it for what it gives, but I don't think there's gonna be another game that'll feel like a Battlefront 2 OG from that year. It's way too cool. I think the only gripe I have with it, and this is despite it being my favorite game, I wish that it had more game modes based from the campaign. I think
your biggest gripe about the game is you want more game.
Yeah,
That's how you know it's good. If the biggest complaint is you want more game, it's a good game.
It's a really good game, especially for what it gives. Like the update still did wonders. It was still really good. But I mean more of the game modes in terms of when you go through the menu of the game, you pick your map, and then you go like Conquest and then Clone Wars or Galactic Civil War. You kind of go through those. And then for Coruscant, there's no like There's no Order 66 mode.
The closest you get to like an Order 66 mode is just you just have to replay that one mission from Rise of the Empire over and over again. Which,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, that's a cool mission. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
it's not like Order 66 mode.
Yeah, so it's not like there's no game mode on that. There is some on like a PC mod, I think, what I've seen, but it's not like that for
The base game.
There's a conquest mode. So I would say that's the only thing that I have a little bit of a gripe about, but it's not big enough to make it a big deal. It's still so solid all the way through. But yeah, that's my little spiel on the game.
Good game.
I'm just in a ranting mood today.
And that's all right.
The most positive.
If you don't have the rants, this is going to be a short episode.
Yeah, that was just, and I love it. I love the game, but I think that's the only miss. So I think I'd still give it like a 9.5 out of 10. I think the extra half point would be like the Order 66 mode, and with that, I think that would be like 10 out of 10 for me. Like, just that'd be a real treat.
Right. And then lastly, number one, I'm gonna give one of the pair number one, and then I'm gonna give the honorable mention to the other, just because having two number ones is a little bit of a cop out. But honorable mention, and this will immediately give away the number one. Honorable mention goes to Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy. Which means the winner, number uno,
Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
No. OG Lego Star Wars, the original.
The OG.
Yeah. Staring back at me from my shelf, looking at me and just like, you completed me. Now complete me again.
Complete me on all 3 files.
Yes. That was the first Star Wars game I ever played, was Lego Star Wars. And then we beat all the levels, we got all the mini kits, we never 100%ed it. And then years and years later, I picked it up again, and I spent like 2 days looking for everything. I wanted to just enjoy it like I did back in the day, and I had so much fun. And up till that point, like up till I got it again, we had Lego Star Wars 2.
Yeah.
And that's a fun game, don't get me wrong. However, the OG, just again, nostalgia, man, you just can't beat it.
You can't.
I remember because it was at our local store a couple times. Or no, I saw it in our local game store one time on the used game shelf, and I immediately went, "You're coming home with me." And I grabbed it off the shelf, and my buddy, one of my buddies was working there. He's just like, it's a classic, can't go wrong.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, ring it up for me, man. It's just like, can do. And then I went in like 2 weeks later, and I saw Lego Star Wars 2 on the shelf for PlayStation 2. So I would have Lego Star Wars 1 and Lego Star Wars 2 for PlayStation 2. And I was just like, you're coming home with me. And I picked it up off the shelf, and I went to and it was, my buddy was working there again. It's just like, weren't you in here like a couple weeks ago buying the first one? I'm like, yeah. It was just like, you're making a good choice here. It's just like, yes, I am.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Because then I'll bring in the Lego Star Wars experience that I have, because that's actually my kind of number 2. If I were to rank them, I would say like Fallen Order's 3, Lego Star Wars, just across the board, number 2. All their games are pretty solid, and then Battlefront 2 is number 1. But talking about the Lego Star Wars, I would say, because like you said, nostalgia definitely gets its brownie points in a lot of choices.
Oh yeah,
I would say that, like, over time, I would say that the complete saga is I would say the definition of just a solid Lego game. And don't get me wrong, the 2 separate ones, like the original trilogy and then the Lego Star Wars, the video game, like, I've played both, and I actually have different stories with both of them. But I think just bringing them together in just one game, I think was just a brilliant move, because not everyone grew up with just the 2 separate ones. So then that was the first time that I got exposed to Lego Star Wars at that point. So I got it almost as soon as it came out. I was so psyched to see it. Played the heck out of it. I probably came close to finishing it, but not quite. I do have a soft spot for Lego Star Wars 2, just in particular because before the complete saga came out, I did have the original trilogy as a Lego game. I don't know how it ended up in our house. I have no idea. Obviously, my parents would have bought it, but I wouldn't know what it was for, whether it was my birthday or Christmas or whatever. I have a soft spot for it because it was the first time I ever touched a Lego game. And I think I may have spoke too soon if I said that the complete saga was the first game I played that I remember playing, but that's actually not true. The original trilogy was the first game I ever played for Lego.
I will just add real quick. I have played the original trilogy in arguably the weirdest way because I've never played the console version, and then it's got ported to Steam.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I didn't play that either. I played the version that came out on the Nintendo DS, which is a little wonkus. It's a little janky.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
That's fair.
And also, for that matter,
you dropped something.
I dropped my pencil.
Oh no!
Well, that's just gone forever now, isn't it?
What? Where did it fall?
I don't know. Oh, there it is.
There you go. I found it.
I'll use another pencil to retrieve it because it's like way the heck over there. But and then on the topic of janky Lego games for handheld, I also played Lego Star Wars 2 for Nintendo DS, which, oh boy, if you've ever wanted the jankiest version of a game, that's up there.
It seems like all the DS games are trying to perform the higher platform games just was not good. A little bit unfortunate. I have played the original Lego Star Wars game as well, growing up, and that was an interesting time because there was my parents had like daycare kids, and then they would come over and then we'd play. Funny enough, they also went to the same school, and then the same church growing up. So then I was like, we were close, and I'd go to his place kind of like after church services, and we'd just like play Lego Star Wars, and we would only ever play episode 1 because the game that he had, or I guess his disc, whatever was so scratched up.
Couldn't play anything other than episode 1.
But not even episode 1. We couldn't even complete episode 1. We could only play like the first 5 levels of the game, and then as soon as we got to like the Theed Palace, before you drop down and start going down towards like the hangar bay kind of thing, the game would always freeze when you go through a door. The one specific door in the map every single time. No idea why. Doesn't make sense other than it was scratch the garbage. But that was my only exposure to the Lego Star Wars the video game from that time.
This is also just a side thing. Just get your games resurfaced once in a while. The games you like playing, get them resurfaced once in a while.
Yeah,
I did while I was down there visiting, just because there's no place up here to do that.
Fair. Yeah, I should try to do that because I have a bunch of games that I haven't played. So I'm like, I should just take these. I want to exchange for other ones that I'll probably play.
Yeah.
I will say the other, like, going back to Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, of course, like I give it the definition of just like a solid Lego game, but then like I don't want to exclude Indiana Jones and Batman, DC superheroes, all that stuff, and Harry Potter, which funny enough with Harry Potter, my wife and I actually played that one together.
That is very wholesome.
On the Wii.
Well,
Because
I thought maybe you got the. I thought you maybe got the collection because they re-released it for modern consoles.
no, and it was for the Wii because I thrifted both of them.
Ah.
So they were like $4 a game. Started playing it, and unfortunately, she couldn't handle the whole split screen rotating thing,
Yeah.
which is totally fair. Like, I could totally see that just being a massive issue for some people. So unfortunately, my wife is one of the victims of that thing. I can handle it totally fine. There's something about playing the old games that's just like, it's just peace and tranquility. You know?
The older games just have a charm to them, all their own, because there's no dialogue. They have like the little, it's just like, they just make the noise. You know?
Yeah.
They just, and it just makes you laugh because there's no dialogue, but you get everything you need from the scene just from them like doing like different actions, and they have all the funny little additions to the cutscenes, like.
Yeah.
However many times they throw in a random rubber duck somewhere.
It's always a rubber duck. That's so good. I love it. That'd be the only thing. And then I loved Lego Star Wars 3 as well.
Clone Wars, it's classic.
Yeah, that's why I kind of just included just Lego Star Wars as just its own thing, because it's like my first introduction was the original trilogy, as I said. The complete saga was the first game, or the first Lego game that I bought that would cover just everything that I loved about just Star Wars. It was just the first 6 movies. Lego Star Wars 3 was the Clone Wars, where it started to revamp some new like animation techniques and playability wise. I thought it was really, really cool. Just because it's like you can be on opposite sides of the cruiser and still accomplish things, which is just like the coolest thing. And then like big scale maps and just battles on the ground was just like the coolest thing when it came out. So obviously there's a soft spot for that there.
They haven't done some. This is just a little tangent. As far as I'm aware, they haven't done anything similar to Lego Star Wars 3 since, which I think is really cool. That it's a fairly unique experience among Lego games.
Yeah, I would say that too. I think, and then a couple of other games that I kind of thought about briefly was the Vader Immortal game. I only watched, funny enough, Star Wars Theory play them on his channel. Played the Vader Immortal games, and I think that's a VR game if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure anymore. But that was pretty cool with Darth Vader, and there's like another thing with like a possessed helmet from like Lord Momin, something like that. That was an interesting kind of stretch of story. And then there's also the Clone Wars game, just the game, not the Lego version, but just like the Clone Wars game, kind of like
like Clone Wars Heroes, I think, or something along those lines.
I don't even know if it's Heroes. I think it was literally just called the Clone Wars. If I can find it, yeah, right here. But yeah, I think you just like basically just play as Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Rex in like their missions from the show.
I think it's typically it's Anakin, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Ahsoka, or Rex and Cody, I think.
Yeah, I like I said, I vaguely remember playing that maybe one time, but it wasn't enough to like ingrain a memory. When I was growing up, I think it could have been like early high school, late elementary school, so probably grades 7, 8, 9 kind of thing. I'd bring Star Wars Battlefront 2 to my buddy's place because he couldn't have the game because I guess he was like too violent or something like that. Just like protecting the kids at all costs kind of thing. So I'd bring the game over because I was a rebellious child. And
So rebellious.
so rebellious, playing the bad games. And then we'd play it on his Xbox. And then we'd turn on the TV, play the game, and then like the Xbox itself, because you would never like turn it on outside of playing that game when I brought it over, was all in French. So then I had to navigate the console and the game menu all in French.
Huh.
And the only reason that I got through and figured out how to change it was because I knew the Xbox layout and the Battlefront game menu so well that it seemed kind of obsessive. But I ended up figuring it out, and then we were able to play it in English after that. But it's like so funny. We played one mission in French, and it was just like all the call signs were in French, and I was like, "What is this?"
Welcome to Star Wars Battlefront 2 extra hard mode.
Yeah, I didn't know what they're saying. Like Darth Maul would be saying his quotes in French, and I was like, "What's going on? This doesn't make sense." It was just like a really funny memory that came to mind just now. So I was like, I have to say that. That's pretty funny.
It's a good addition. It's a funny addition.
Yeah. Are you good too, sir? Or you have something else to add or anything?
I cannot think of anything to add. So, my good sir.
Yes.
Our closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Turns out that we actually have a lot of similar favorite games outside of maybe Fallen Order being on my top list and yours being on the bottom of your need to play list.
It's not on the bottom. There's other games below it. It's somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay, so it's not as bad. Okay, cool.
No. It looks interesting. I'd give it that.
There you go. But other than that, I don't really have any closing thoughts. I think it's my turn to actually just close the episode. So if you don't have any final thoughts, then I can close off the episode.
Close it off, my man.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you everyone for listening to the Sando Aqua Lounge, and we thank you for listening to today's episode. And as always, just shouting out our YouTube channel. We have all the same episodes. Everything's released on YouTube in a visual audio experience. There's sound waves, there's captions. You can read along, listen to us in your little gaming setup or whatever setup you've got if you don't take your podcast on the go. And of course, you can still do that as well on Spotify. Stay tuned for a bonus episode that will be released after this one, even though it was recorded first. As we dive into we meet up for the first time in almost 9 years, and then I give a really long spiel about the Fan Expo 2025 in Vancouver. So with that, we're about to leave the lounge, and as always, remember, there's always a bigger fish.